President Biden used all of the tools of hospitality to announce deeper ties with Japan. He welcomed Prime Minister Fumio Kishida to the White House Wednesday for a day of meetings capped with a lavish state dinner. The two leaders announced plans to upgrade military command and control operations, integrate their air defense networks, and bring Japan along for a U.S. mission to the moon.
Together, our countries are taking significant steps to strengthen defense security cooperation. We're modernizing command and control structures, and we're increasing the interoperability and planning of our militaries so they can work together in a seamless and effective way. This is the most significant upgrade in our alliance since it was first established.
CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang joins me now from the White House. Weijia, much of this visit is about bolstering military cooperation between the U.S. and Japan, but the two countries already have a relationship, so what's changing now?
Well, this is exactly how they are framing it, John, that this is really upgrading the existing relationship between these two militaries. And so there will be more of an integration between the two militaries. The Pentagon will work out those details, especially to upgrade the current U.S. command center in Japan, which hosts about 54,000 U.S. troops. And they also have plans to work with Australia to establish a joint air defense system, as well as look at ways to produce defense weapons together. So it's all about expanding on what already exists.
And the two leaders, as I understand it, are having a meeting with the Philippines on Thursday. So what's everybody meeting about and having all these defense arrangements about?
Well, John, they're going to make announcements to talk about strategic partnerships, about the economy, about the South China Sea. And that really is what all of this hinges on. Even though the president didn't talk at length about Beijing, it certainly was the undercurrent and the backdrop of both today's meeting and tomorrow's trilateral meeting, because it's all about showing a stance together. It's about showing cooperation and that there is an alliance between these countries as China continues to ramp up its aggression in the South China Sea, especially when it comes to the Philippines. There have been several physical encounters with the Chinese Coast Guard and vessels that belong to the Philippines. And so they want to send a message that they are essentially teammates, and they are watching very closely what happens in that part of the region with China. And John, I have to say, the Japanese Prime Minister almost summed it up perfectly when he said, they were talking about the conflict in Ukraine. He said today it could be Ukraine, and tomorrow it could be the East Asia. And so they are eyeing this very closely.
And speaking of backdrop, we should let our viewers know that while you were giving that wonderful answer, behind you was both the Honor Guard and the president's own Marine Band, which is all there for the state dinner tonight, I would imagine. That's why everybody's there. Let me ask you the last question, Weijia, which is that there is this Nippon Steel deal to buy U.S. Steel, Japanese company. Was there discussion of that? It's a political, the president is against that deal, we should note. And was there any discussion of that in today's meeting?
Well, both leaders were asked directly about this, and they tried to brush it off. The Japanese prime minister saying that he believes the parties are still talking about it, and he hopes that it will ultimately result in a union that benefits both the U.S. and Japan. The president just said that he reaffirmed his commitment to American workers. You're right in that he opposed this deal because Japan would be acquiring U.S. Steel, which really has a legacy here in the United States. And of course, Biden, especially candidate Biden, has pledged so much support for steel workers to stay in this country. And so even though the company itself would remain headquartered in Pittsburgh, there are a lot of questions about how that might influence labor agreements, for example, and how, day-to-day life is for those workers. So surely they talked about it in public. They didn't want to draw too much attention to this tension as they talked in public, because you're right, John, when there is a state visit, there is a lot of diplomacy, there's a lot of work behind the scenes, and to your point, a lot of pomp and circumstance, because of course it all ends in a fancy state dinner happening here at the White House.
That's right. And if you're lucky, the U.S. Marine Corps band will strike up in practice, and you'll get to hear it. Weijia Jiang at the White House. Thank you so much.
Thanks.